Welcome to the 13th round of the FDC. This was a 25% race at Spa-Francorchamps, and even from the first few laps of qualifying, Radlon was proving to be a challenge. Twice when I drove past there looked to have been trouble. I had a moment on an outlap as I took my eyes off the road to glance at my minimap, resulting in a spin. I was lucky not to take wing damage, as that would have meant going straight back to the pits. So the Almighty taking pole by a couple of tenths, Meister and TJD again taking second and third, and Alex just beating Spellman and Fragweiser for P4. I had a better qualifying session than on the previous round. As this would be a dry race, I left traction control off, whereas last round with the rain I left it on to prevent spinning, but it seems to hold the car back a lot when you try to accelerate. And I also found that my steering degrees weren't aligned. I probably played another racing game and just forgot to switch it back, so for round 13 I had it back to where it should be. I had to turn the assists off twice for this race. There seems to be a glitch where they switch themselves back on initially, but the second time you do it keeps them off. And my shadow play settings don't save, so before a race I have to remember to check these things, along with running TeamSpeak constantly, otherwise my internet just keeps dropping out for some reason. To the race start, and it was bad luck for TJD as he was bumped by Fragweiser and took some wing damage. Shark also had wing damage from getting bumped. He slowed a little earlier than I was expecting, so I nudged him. So my apologies to Shark, and that's caused both of us to take some wing damage. Fragweiser, Alex, Beaumont, HD Gamer and Darrow were off at Radlon. And I don't know about the other guys in the league, but it had only been a couple of weeks since that tragic F2 race. So it was still very much fresh in my mind, and I imagine the others felt the same, remembering not only Antoine Hubert, but also thinking of Juan Manuel Correa, who I think was still in intensive care at the time. HD Gamer, Beaumont and Fragweiser were out, but Alex and Darrow were still running. Being in the dirty air was a big concern for me in the winding corners of Spa. Going past Dezomri put me up into 8th. On lap 2 there was a battle between TJD and Meister out of turn 16. TJD in the green car and Mido in the black. Mido had managed to get ahead, and they brake side by side going into the chicane, both on the soft tyre, but TJD with a little wing damage. Spellman was sideways behind them. As they entered lap 3 they were still side by side into turn 1. But Mido just managed to get ahead down towards Eau Rouge. Mido was using up his KERS and didn't have much left. But the battle wasn't over as TJD held on well through Radlon, remaining in the slipstream and sailing past down the Camel Straight as Mido almost ran out of KERS. Mido remained close behind TJD while recharging his KERS, and even had another look at turn 11. TJD was ahead of Meister Mido in the standings by 21 points despite attending one race less than Mido. But Mido had won a race while TJD's best result was second. TJD managed to stay ahead but with a small gap. Behind them I was trying to catch up with Keg when it looks like he let me through. And I had done the same thing back at Monaco, where I just wanted to avoid fighting a drama against a faster car. At the end of lap 4 I took my mandatory pit stop and used the opportunity to get a new front wing to give me more confidence with the car. I had clear air at the exit of my 8-second pit stop, but had some constant pressure from Keg a few seconds behind as he was very consistent. I knew if I made a mistake then he would be right there. I had a scary moment at turn 6, and embarrassingly HD Gamer was not only spectating me at the time but also recording. At the start of lap 10 Meister Mido went into the lead. It looks like the Almighty might have outbraked himself. Heading into turn 7 the Almighty had closed back up but couldn't retake the lead. With less than 2 laps to go it was looking like Mido could be on his way to his second victory. The Almighty stepped onto the gravel but kept it together. Spellman and TJD were fighting over the last podium spot on the last lap. Unluckily for TJD, as he approached Darrow under blue flags, Darrow didn't slow down and there was almost a collision at turn 7. TJD abandoned the corner, losing about half a second to Spellman. It looked like TJD had repaired his front wing, both cars were on the same tyres. And it seemed that Spellman was going to wait for the chicane to make a move. Using the last of his KERS, and with his fuel warning light flashing, he went to the outside. TJD ran over the chicane on the inside, picking up an automatic 5-second time penalty. So as they crossed the line side by side, it was Spellman being awarded with third. Due to the length of the laps at Spa, I accidentally put too much fuel in the car, as one extra lap of fuel adds a lot to the tank compared to a track like Austria. Italus had some trouble and ended up doing 3 pit stops. So Meistermodo won the race and took the fastest lap, the Almighty in a close second, Spellman third, TJD fourth, Shark a best result in fifth, yours truly in P6 again, Keg a best result getting into the points and finishing his first race of the championship in P7, Italus picking up some points despite his extra pit stops in 8th, Desomery 9th, Darrow was demoted for a blue flag incident to 10th, retirements for Alex and the 3 cars that were out on lap 1, Fragweiser, Beaumont and HD Gamer. So that was our 11 lap race at Spa, and we'll be back with highlights from our 27 lap race at Monza, so we'll see you then.